Hello, everybody. My name is Blackstar300. If you guys remember me from back when I was a shrimp for Garguda, Hall Live English. Um, when I first was a shrimp, I always thought it was great to do something as a VTuber community that is something for the real world. So I started the Shrimps4Sharks in hopes that we could donate to shark charities, which was an aspiring project that I wanted to do that was going to be Twitter based. And talking to some of you guys in the chat, some of you guys said, "Oh, started in a Discord server." So I went to go do it, and I needed help because it was way bigger than what I needed. So I founded the project, but it wouldn't have been done without the great people that I'm about to introduce, which is only a small portion. There's actually a few of us, part of my leadership team, that won't be joining us today. But I do have the pleasure of introducing three of my helpers to realize this charity project that we do, which we donate to about 6 or 7 charities currently, and maybe we'll add more in the next coming year. But we do have Els NYT, which I'm sure a lot of you probably know. It's a huge person in the Gouda community, in the Gouda fan base, helping with a lot of projects. We also have JohnyKaze, who is very important to us with our design and some of our graphic logos that you may have seen, as well as Ciel Kirahoshi, which is probably one of the most infamous chumpies out there with the coveted Gouda signature. Um, but I'm going to let them introduce themselves and talk about them a little bit more. So, Ciel, you want to start?
Sure. My name is Ciel Kirahoshi. As you know, I'm the one with the Gura signature. Absolutely love it. I found Shrimp4Sharks in the Gura Court. I just randomly found it, and I was like, "Hey, you know what? This looks fun. I want to join. Try to do something, help the community out." I wasn't a part of the team at first when I first joined, and as I came over time and started knowing the people in it, I wanted to help out. So I started trying to help out in other servers. Eventually, I got into it, and now I hope that this coming year it turns out even better.
Absolutely, and we're glad to have you for sure. Um,
Thank you.
Johnny, how about yourself? Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, you did say my name, but I am Johnny Kaze or John, however you want to call me. I ended up joining probably a day or two, I think, after you made this Black Star. I'm
Mm.
pretty sure at least.
Yeah, you're one of
Um,
the first initial wave that came in.
yeah, but I recall even before Shrimps for Sharks was a thing and even had a name, you, myself, and multiple other people in pre-chat used to always talk about, hoping Gura would eventually do some kind of like marine life charity kind of events or like a stream, and then just started evolving into like, well, why don't we do something, which eventually became what is now. Um, but I joined pretty early in, and then decided that, well, if we're gonna do this and like, try to promote charities and getting more awareness out there to people, design might be a necessary thing. And it just so happens that I'm a graphic designer by trade, so I decided to lend my talents toward this, just because it'd be a fun project and it's for a good cause.
Absolutely. And like I said, I hope a lot of you guys see the designs that we have up and our YouTube and our social media channels. Those are all done by that guy right there. So if you see him in the chats, give him a thank you. But we're definitely glad to have him on board because I couldn't have done any of that. Honestly, I'm thankful for the leadership team. Els, why don't you give us a quick introduction there?
Ellesnyt, and I'm just a tiny stream that love Gura and want to do something for Gura. And then one day I found out as far as from YouTube chat and Twitter. Then I joined the server like a few days after you started up, right? I
Hmm,
mean, or
yeah.
maybe the first or second day. Yeah, and then I start doing stuff. Yeah, helping up stuff and yeah.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
you were one of the
yeah.
first. I think you might have been the first or second. Oh, I know Niche was first actually. So yeah, he just kind of helped me soft launch. But yeah, I think you were like the second or third one to join. You were in pretty early. Yeah.
Yeah, so hope this year will be better. I mean, it will be definitely. I mean, we grow. So yeah,
Yeah, it's all it is. It's all about growth, and even if we don't grow as much, it's all about the good cause, really what it is.
yeah,
So that's all we're here for. So those are the quick introductions. So we're going to open it up to more of like a general podcast. I'm just going to ask a series of questions, and then we're all just kind of going to join in because I know that I also haven't answered these questions as well. So we're all just kind of talk to you guys, those that will be hearing this, and just letting you guys know what's going on behind the scenes for Shrimps4Sharks. So the first question I really have for us is, upon hearing about Shrimps4Sharks, what were your initial thoughts on the startup project, if any of you guys can recall?
I mean, I can go first. Sort of like how I mentioned, just like in my introduction, it was something that I wanted to happen anyway. So
Mhm.
as soon as I found out it was happening, it was kind of a no-brainer to join up. Um, yeah, I don't know that there's much more to say about that, honestly.
No, you're good. Yeah, no, it's just one of those things that's like, because I always feel like we are still a small channel, honestly. Like I think we got about 150 people, and we do have some outreach on our Twitter. But I know when people are joining in, they have a misconception that we are like a good record or some sense. So I know when the early point we've had people come in and ask, what do we do here? And I think the biggest part is that we are a charity event. I'll probably even just restate that now. We are a charity event. Like we actually don't take your money. If you are listening to this, that is not what the Discord is about. It is basically a list of about 6 or 7 charities that you are donating to. We just kind of help facilitate the event, and during Shark Week, we listen and watch shark videos, and of course, we are fans of Gouda. So there's a lots of Gouda chatter in the community as well. But it is one of those things where we're not a Gouda court. CRLs, how did you guys feel upon first joining in? What was your guys' initial thoughts upon joining this kind of a small startup server that had just very little people in it at the time?
I mean, I just wanted to. Oh, sorry,
That's fine. You can go first.
I just want to do something on behalf of Pura, like donating to shark-related organization
Hmm.
on behalf on her name as a token of appreciation. Yeah, just simple thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and and that's quite something for you because you've done quite a bit of work with the actual Good Guardians, which is the other Hololive server for Good, the unofficial. You've done some work for them on Good's behalf, haven't you?
Yeah. I just did some compilation artwork.
Hmm.
Yeah, as her anniversary first year anniversary gift, and another one is for Valentine's. Just a
Yeah.
small gift. I mean, even though she might not see it, but yeah, it's just a small gift from a tiny stream to
It's
her.
the, it's the love and effort that you put into it, though, that matters. And I'm sure she did see it. I mean, it had a lot of people into that, and I'm sure she did see it. I'm sure she saw it
Yeah,
and she smiled.
yeah.
What about you, Co?
When I first saw the S4S Discord, I just thought it would be nice to help out or join in and see what it is about. Well, I mean, it's hard to go wrong with charity. Even without Gura, going around and helping with charity is always still a good thing to do. So, even knowing I came in with Gura, I wanted to help out no matter what because I just think helping out charities are always a nice thing to do.
Absolutely. And it's funny you mentioned about charities too, because I know right around, I think we started this. I think it started around May, because it was a really big crunch time for Shark Week 2021. It was an absolute nightmare. But around that time, many people who are probably fans of Gouda are probably fans of other Hololive English, right? At least Hollow Myth at the time. Watson did her huge and successful charity, which was, we kind of started ours before, not like it's a competition type thing, but I seen Watson do her charity. It kind of really inspired me. I don't know if it really inspired you guys that there's the people in the community could kind of gather together to do something. She crushed her goals within not even starting the stream, and then even proceeded to do more. and crushed consecutive, like, it was insane how much she wrote. She raised actually, and yeah, I thought that was a good thing, and I hope that other Hall of members, or at least more people, can kind of see that that's what we're kind of trying to do going forward with our event.
Yeah, to kind of add to that, I think I agree. It was actually like right around that same time that we were really pushing for
Mm,
Shrimps4Sharks. And similarly, in that same time frame, other streamers and VTubers I personally watch were doing similar charity events for other causes. And it's always really inspiring to see a community come together to do something really positive for the world.
mm,
VTubers or not, I think like Ciel was saying, like this is just a very worthy cause to be involved with. I think the more you do a bit of research and really look into the effect sharks have on the globe and what their loss can actually potentially mean to just normal people, it makes it all the more important. But kind of with that inspiration comes just the understanding that we are, like you said, a smaller community, so we have to kind of like set expectations with the hope that we always continue to do more and more with each passing year. After all, like last year was our first time doing this. We had a lot to learn. We learned a lot from the experience, and we have a lot to prove for this year.
mm.
Um, but we'll likely never perhaps see the same kind of numbers that Amelia could pull, or Gura, or another big streamer. But I mean, none of what we did last year went to waste. I think that's a really encouraging thought. Any amount of money, any amount of support, or getting the word out can cause a big effect.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, this is kind of a question of going further down the line, but it not only needs to be like strictly in the order. But yeah, we raised about $3,000 last year, guys, and that's $3,000 more than what the people would have raised if it wasn't put on. So it may not have been the hundreds and thousands that were put on by Watson's charity event, but it's no small amount of change for any one of us. It was a good amount of money, and I'm definitely proud of that for sure.
Mhm.
Anyone else had anything to add on to that before you kind of dive into the next one?
Say that even if you're not like a VTuber, like VTubers, streamers, YouTubers, they all oftentimes do charities and they
Mm-hmm.
do like streams. It's always a good idea, even if they don't raise money, just to get the word out there to
Yeah.
help awareness for it.
Mm-hmm. That is true. The reason why I kind of feel like it's a little bit more of a different connotation. It's always weird because streaming is such a huge thing nowadays, especially with the internet and the way technology has moved forward. Streaming as a job is actually become more prominent. Like you said, you got a lot of people on Twitch. That's a huge streaming platform itself, where YouTube is more of a video hosting site with some streaming. But Twitch is literally based off on streaming. But I always feel like the VTubing always has like it's in a subset of streaming, because that's what they all are. They're all streaming, but you always people look at VTubing as in a different light or a different connotation than just streaming. You could put a VTuber on it and they stream with an anime avatar. People kind of forget that there's a person behind that. I almost feel they almost feel like it's almost like you're watching anime, and that's the appeal of it, but they're just real people. And so I always wanted to do something for this, so people that maybe see Shrimps4Sharks in passing, they see that we do charity. Oh, you're doing this for a VTuber, and then they don't have to really watch, but they can kind of see that the community, I guess, it comes together just as much as anything else, and kind of break down those barriers. Because that's one of the things for me is people honestly do forget that there are real people behind them putting their real time and real effort entertaining us and the masses, and I kind of want to give back to them almost in the way that I can, in the small way that we can. So the next question would be, coming from the leadership. When I first kind of recruited you guys, like I couldn't have done this on my own. Like I said, it was going to be a Twitter event. It was only going to be a one-time thing. It was only going to be a one year. I was just looking at people to just donate, I wasn't expecting to run a Discord server. I'm really not the best at moderating one. I'll be honest. I never really ran like something official like this or something um, of this sort. So I'm not. I'm still learning honestly as I go along on how to run a Discord server myself. But how did it feel for you guys when you came on to the leadership role to making this charity event come to life? I know each one of us, we each bring something to the table, which is a huge part because, like we mentioned before, you did some of the designs, Johnny. I know you came on CL, but when you guys came onto leadership, how did you guys coming into the role for the charity? What did that really mean for you, and how did you feel about joining?
I think for me, even before I joined,
Hmm.
I generally wanted to help spread the word out. So I tried to advertise this as much as possible on the different Discord servers I was, and just to get let people even know. And that was even before I joined.
Hmm.
And when I came into the role, it makes me want to do a bit more than I did before and try to get even the word out even more.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, and that's definitely a huge thing, and that was one of the things for us is we had to try to promote ourselves in a way that wasn't annoying. We were in pre-chats and stuff like that. We asked for help in other servers, like I said, which is Gur's Guardians as our mutual sponsor. But yeah, the startup is definitely one of the hardest things. So we definitely appreciate you putting your voice out there to try to bring some more people in, which I'm definitely sure helped for sure.
Yeah, having that reach, though, like, because I can say, at least for me, I'm not on a ton of different Hololive servers. I'm on Guardians, I'm on this, but that's really about it. I'm not on any of the other unofficial Discords, so having some members are on those, it kind of helps to paint us as almost like an affiliate, like a charitable affiliate to a lot of the official sites. And not only that, you're reaching an audience that's very like-minded, you would hope. Um, and I think in general, people just like the idea of donating to charities. So it shouldn't be too hard of a task to like find people no matter where you go. But I
Yeah,
think CL having that reach to be able to go to a bunch of other servers and kind of spread the word is definitely not an understatement. That's a good amount of help that we got.
absolutely. And speaking of help and outreach for charities, I'm going to kind of little dip into that a little bit. Els, would you like to share us with what you did and how your outreach most definitely helped? Because you probably brought in the most people into our server.
No, actually, I'm just uh, I'm in almost everyone's server. I mean, like Myth Girls, and then I was in five of them. I mean, the Discord server, and then I just try to reach to their mods or whoever in charge, DM them, and then see if they are interested to help us promote the charity project and some other minor Discord fan server as well. Yeah, I try to reach out to them, and well, I mean, it's a charity after all, and they are quite willing to help us to promote. I mean, it's not that the promotion brings a lot of people coming in, but it does brought some of the people here, I think.
Hmm.
Yes. And this year we have more, I mean, from council. So I hope that I can bring more people to here. I mean, bring
Yeah,
more consciousness, yeah, to the project. It doesn't have to be super big, but yeah, just a little bit more.
yeah,
And I think it's good. Yeah.
yeah.
Any more
No, we don't
traffic
need to be
always helps.
go.
Any more traffic always helps.
Yeah, yeah. We don't need it to be super big, the more we grow, that's great too. But I also don't want to. I want to be able to manage the growth as well too. So there is a nice bit of boon in growing at a pace, and as long as people come to donate, that's what's great. But yeah, you have reached out a lot, and so we definitely appreciate it, and you joining the other servers, and that's why you're the promotions lead because you joined in. And fun fact that when Els first joined in, before we are using the promotional flyers that we're using now, I think the first day that she joined, she actually made. She's like, I want to help so much, so she made a flyer, which we still keep on board. Like I said, we are using the one with our our logo that Johnny has made for us, but Els made our very first flyer. She wanted to help so much. She made our very first flyer, which I am so grateful for, and it was a great flyer. And she made our slogan. Do you want to say our slogan, Els?
You say it.
Wow. So she
You
came up.
say it.
Okay. So she came up with our slogan, and it was a great one. So she said, "Let the ocean be filled with love," which I think resonates with all of us here because we have a tremendous amount of love for Gouda, and it was the reason why we started this. Upon joining this, we all learned a lot about sharks, and we do love them so much. But it really did resonate. And at first, I didn't really see that resonate with me as much as it does now with a lot of the research that we've done, and we're still researching. Um, but it is what brought us here. For me, anyways, good as what brought me into the VTubing community. It definitely is what brought me into my love for sharks. So it really did. And the ocean is vast, and there's so many people out there that we would like to reach, not in the the Chumby community, but there's also the Hololive English, and then there's a whole bunch of other Kaigai Nikis for us, all over in Japan that love Gouda. Um, so there's a lots of ocean out there, lots of shrimps, lots of chumbuds. Um, so that slogan, I think, definitely has such deep meaning for our project.
Like,
So with that being said, with our past year, I think even now about a year and a half since we're kind of slowly moving into 2022 whenever we do find the dates for it. Any particular memory that you have from either yourself or any S4S leader? I know that we are missing a few of them, which I will say we're missing Niche, which I know is in lots of channels. I'm sure some of you guys know. We got Sebastian, and we have Black Forest, which is quite busy, so I'm not too sure how much they need chats he in, but we do have a few of them currently missing. I'm not missing any of them myself, am I?
I think you're
Well,
good.
yeah. Oh man. Let's say, imagine if I missed a mod member. Oh God. Um, but yeah, any particular memory from your guys' self? I know it's kind of very narcissistic or very vain in thought, but any memory that you guys have personally, or maybe from another leader that you would like to share? Anything in particular?
it's a memory that sticks out.
Yeah, yeah, just within the past year. I mean, you could even be a group of them too. Just like, I guess that whole thing is like anything memorable, I guess, from the past like year and a half that you remember from our whole thing. At least for me, like I'll kind of start first to kind of give you an example. I think for me, one of the most memorable things is our huge crunch. A lot of people don't know, like we're in dead period right now. Like we know we don't promoting in the server, or we're not promoting in Twitter. We are doing Shark Facts now, and we're not promoting in the YouTube chats because we don't really have anything to really present. Because like I said, we are an event charity, so we really kind of focus in that months before Shark Week. Like that's kind of our big thing. Um, but we started this in May last year, and at that time, um, the whole event was going to be happening, I think, in August. Well, then it got moved up from August to July. So we had about 2 months time, and I think it started about late May. I think it started like at the end of May. So we really had like a month and a half. And that was quite a daunting task because I had like CL was the last one to join at that time and wasn't even around for the prep work, but he was definitely helping during, which was a huge boost. But for like the 5 or 6 of us, it was huge crunch because we had to make sure the server was up. We had to make sure that we are promoting. We were trying to gather charities because we wanted to make sure if we were gathering charities that we could present them to you guys. We didn't want to just be getting terrible charities, so we were look at the charities ourselves, research them, but it went in a lot of work. And when that time moved up a month, it was a huge blow because we lost a whole month of kind of planning and preparing. But we worked very well. Like I feel like our crunch time, like it sounds bad to say, but we worked better under the crunch pressure because we knocked it out. And I think that was one of the memorable memories for me because it was the soft boot for, and I was worried about it being not that great of a launch or not having everything done in time. But it all worked out. I mean, I don't want to do that crunch again this year, But that was probably my memory, and it kind of encompassed everyone from the team. But that's kind of like what I'm looking for when we're talking about memories or what you have in mind. And you can use the same one too if that's memorable for you, because I know that was a big event.
I think my
For
best
me,
you go.
alright, just go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I think my best memory is when we were watching the different terrible shark movies,
Oh
and
yeah.
oh
Oh
my
yeah.
god, they're just something about them that is just so terrible that I love them unironically.
I wouldn't even call them B grade, but I mean they were pretty bad. For some of the people that weren't watching, 'cause I know we only had a small viewing party. We decided to finish all the Sharknadoes. I know Gooda watched the first one, so we decided to watch all six. In case you weren't aware, there are six Sharknado movies. Yes. Why so many? I have no idea. It was quite a ride. We also watched it was like Mecha Shark versus Mega Shark. I don't know. It was
It was the shark versus octopus one. I think that
yeah.
was my favorite.
Yeah, it was basically a giant taco, which is basically, which is cool because Eno was there. And then, we had Gouda, but yeah, we watched some just very campy. We do watch some documentaries here, but we watched some fun, goofy ones. But yeah, those are fun in its own way, in a very rough way. Johnny Els?
Oh, for me,
Mhm.
well, every memories are precious to me, and then
Aw.
the one stick out the most might be the first time when we all tried to hang out in the voice chat, the first time ever.
Okay.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
was so nervous. I
That was
mean, I'm not a native English speaker, so I was pretty self-conscious on my accent and stuff.
mhm.
I barely speak, and then yeah, it was very memorable for me.
Yeah, it was definitely something for us because I know that was when the first time we been playing Gartic Phone. Which, by the way, in the first year and a half, we've never actually scheduled a Gartic Phone event, which is
We
I need
should.
to. There's
That was
so many
fun.
things. Yeah, there's so many things. Like we even had Scribble.io as a plan. I had just so much stuff that I want to eventually do that just comes down to like good streams or working time crunch, trying to get the people that want to watch or do the event in. But I know that you are very nervous. And by the way, your English is great. I know even
Mm.
native English people don't speak English very well, and I am a testament to that because English is hard. Muzukashi, ego muzukashi.
Yeah, very muskashi.
English Jozo.
Oh, arigato.
Joseph.
But yeah, no, we're definitely. It was definitely. I know it was very nerve-wracking for you, and probably high anxiety. But we were glad to have you for that event, and we're glad that you're able to join us for this podcast. I know when we first decided to um, put this on, that you're also still kind of nervous about doing it as well, and you were even thinking about. I know I did tell you that if you wanted to not, I gave you the chance to. If you want to do a write-up, if you wanted to write something, we could put it on. We can put it up for people to see because I wanted you to feel as comfortable as possible, and I hope that what we do here is good for you, Els, and that you're having fun with us, and you're feeling kind of at home with Shrimps for Sharks.
Yeah. It's always my home, my second home.
Aww. And
My
her,
heart.
yes, she is a sweetness in the group. Like if you come in and join, she's the best. Everyone loves Els. It's no testament. You come into the server, you talk to people on the Guardians, and everybody loves Els.
No, there's too much.
Else is the best.
Yes.
He speaks
Stop
the truth.
it. I'm getting hot.
um, Johnny, did you go for that question already, or I don't
No,
think so.
I'm not.
Yes. Okay.
Um, it's okay to have a few. Is that overachieving?
No, you're only limited to one. We have a time crunch, man. No, you can go say a few.
Okay. Well, I mean, you said time crunch, so yeah, that leads me to similar to what you were saying. The crunch. The crunch was interesting.
Yeah.
I know at least with design, I do tend to work well under pressure, and I think hopefully that came across. Although looking at some of the stuff I've done for Shrimps4Sharks, even I know I can do a lot better. So hopefully, I can keep on improving upon what I produce for S4S.
I remember the
This
mock-ups that
year.
you've done. You've done a few mock-ups. I'd be like, "Hey Johnny, what's the next mock-up?" I have 4 of them up. I'm like, "Oh wow, like you're I think you did more ambitious than what I expected, which is great. But yeah, you've done a few mock-ups for us, and you even revised one of the previous designs you did while working. Like, yeah, it was insane how fast you're able to get these quality designs. Yeah, it was
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's all just going back to like I do it professionally, so I have to work fast a lot of times. So it just kind of leaks into to this as well. Even though like for me, I consider this more of a passion project more than anything. But the crunch time was interesting. It was kind of like invigorating in a weird way. Um, and I'm sure Ciel can attest. If this was like the games industry, we would have like the press and consumers hating on us because of crunch time. But I think, at least in our case, it actually worked out to our benefit. Um, it proved just how hard we could all work
mm,
and achieve a goal at the end of the day. I think that's pretty valuable if you're trying to, lead a donation and charity effort like we are. Um, so that's my first thing. Second thing would be the Finn documentary. I think that one is always going to
oh,
stand out to me because, um, like just because of being part of this, I've had an idea of just how important sharks are and how bad finning is, and like all of the negative things that happen in our world to sharks. But I think the documentary Finn gives a lot more context to the issue and just how complex and deep it goes.
mm,
Highly recommend it to anyone who's listening to this to get a Discovery Plus account, like get a trial even, and watch it. It's very worth the time and effort to do so. Um, it will change the way you think about sharks, I
mm.
think,
And I
because
will
it did for me.
Yeah, and I will say if you are going to be watching into, it's got a lot of they don't sugarcoat things. So if you're not
Mm.
one to really be upfront and it even it's got some gruesome parts in there. I think there is disclaimers, but we'll tell you here if you are looking at watching such a great documentary, we we advise you to watch it. We're going to watch it again this year. We'll post it up on our social media, but it does open your eyes, and I think because it doesn't give you the bright side to it. It is a very dark documentary, but it lets you know the
Mm.
very dark side of shark hunting and shark finning as well.
Yeah. And aside from that, the last thing, which is perhaps a bit selfish on my part, but I would argue that one of the other great parts of S4S is simply the community. And although we've been off the main push for promoting sharks, it's nice that you can't expect a full Discord server to be active. That's just the nature of these communities. But we do have an active element here, and it was active enough that when I eventually, I think it was like uh August, maybe July last year, that
Mm,
I just on a whim suggested like, hey, how would people like a D&D campaign? I can run it. And to my surprise, genuinely, people were interested in running a campaign. So um, that I think has been one of my favorite things about SFRAS is the community and the ability to run a fun game with people who seem to be also having fun with it.
absolutely.
So
And
yeah.
fun fact about the D&D is actually the four of us, or the four of us here are actually part of that campaign, so we kind of do have a rapport. But besides the rapport that we have today, because it is more of a natural conversation that we are having, when Johnny mentioned, and I even mentioned about the time crunch and stuff like that, and what we had to do is a lot of us here, we haven't really talked to each other. Like we're in the chat for good. We're chatting, so you're talking to your other chumbies, but you don't really have that personal connection. So to really work with people that you don't know, like you really haven't talked to them other than, oh, good at streaming today, or about the chat, or about the stream. We worked immensely well. There's three others that aren't even here, and it's insane because I never worked with people even in my real life, like going into a job and working well with other people on a team project as well as you guys. Like when Els joined in and she wanted to do a flyer, I'm like, okay, let's do it. Johnny comes in. I never asked anyone to do anything here. Like it just happened naturally. Johnny comes in and says, hey, I have design experience. Perfect. Ciel comes in. He's like, oh, in Guardians, I'm in this server. I'm talking to everybody. Let's help and let's do this. And was even one that helped get us gifts on behalf of Shrimps4Sharks. But it was amazing how everyone here melded so well. Like it's not just me to any one of you guys, it's you guys to your peers. And crunch time, it could have easily fallen apart. But you guys came together, and like I said, I love you guys for it. Like it was tremendous work, and I think it was one of my fondest memories on complete strangers coming together and doing something so well.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree.
So besides that, on our first year, like I said, we raised about $3,000. How successful? This is gonna be kind of a short one, I really think, question wise. Uh, how successful do you think our first year went? Like in our first year, we really didn't have any goals. I know we kind of planned goals, but it was one of the kind of things that kind of got scrapped at the end. We didn't really know what to do, and we're trying to plan goals for this year to make people more incentivized to donate, even though the helpful part should just be the incentive in general. I know that we're not as entertaining as VTubers, so like I know Watson did her thing. You'd want to donate to see her sing Shiny Smiley Story and ska, which I know is a huge thing. You want to get ska Shiny Smiley Story. We're not going to do that, by the way. It's already taken. We were planning to, but she did it first, so we don't want to copy. So we didn't really have any goals. So what do you guys like? What were you guys' expectations on the first year, I guess? And us raising $3,000. What do you guys feel about that? What are you guys' thoughts?
I didn't expect to raise that much
Hmm.
at the beginning. Yeah, so I was kind of surprised that wow, Chumbies is generous.
Yeah.
I mean, it's for charity, so I mean, it's a good thing that we do for the ocean and sharks related stuff. So I'm happy to get. I mean, we get to raise until 3,000,
Hmm.
and hopefully we can get more this year. But even though we can get more, it's still fine. At least we will try our best to reach out to more people this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goal this year is raise $1 extra than last year. I know that seems like such a bad goal to not raise it higher, but realistically, it all goes to charity. So and we don't handle any of the money, and they're all the nonprofits. So as long as we raise $1, that is in a step. And like Gutta says, it's progress. So that's all we're here for. As long as you get that $1 extra, we're good. Johnny, you see
Yeah,
how?
I mean, I would say, I mean, kind of going back to your question, um, gauging success is, I think, difficult in some ways. I would argue that we went in blind, uh, didn't quite know what we were doing, and just kind of like we put the car together as we were moving. That's kind of how I would describe our efforts of the first year for S4S. So to be able to make 3,000, I think, is remarkable.
Oh
Or
yeah.
to raise 3,000, but to have raised anything, I would have considered a success. Even if we raised $100, $500, I think that would have been success. Because realistically, we started with nothing.
Yeah, and
Um,
that's what I was looking for too. Is when I started it, I didn't think it was going to be what it was here, like a server. I was just going to have a Twitter campaign, which there is no reason, there is no way all of the information that we have presented in the server, which, like I said, if you're not in the server and you're hearing this on the Twitter, we have a lot of information. So that's why we kind of encourage you to join the server, but you can always donate on your own will. But the money we raised, it was one of those things where we came in with nothing, as you said, and it was like, there's really only ways you can go is up. So we are trying to plan some more things this year for more of a growth, because we do want to kind of see what we have with the last year. But yeah, when you have nothing, it's really just hard to gauge success like that. And I really only thought I was going to be the only one donating. And when I seen you guys come in and donate, and other people, it really, yeah, it really kind of almost made me tear up inside, because I really never done any charity work myself. I mean, kind of done small stuff, but it wasn't really like organizing an event and seeing people kind of come
Mhm.
together to raise 3,000. And I will say it is small. I know we have like the actual corporation, the companies, this is probably like a drop in the hat to them, but you don't think about it like that. It's literally real people like you and me that don't have as much pocket change, perhaps, that are probably living paycheck to paycheck. It's rough, but some people only just donated like $5. And I say only, but it's money going to, like, any bit of it helps, and we couldn't raise it without a dollar. It all goes and
Right.
adds up.
I think, one thing to put it maybe into a different perspective is, how do I put this? I think uh, any amount would have been a success. When you look at even streamers on Twitch, small streamers who might have somewhat of an audience, they're lucky if they reach 1,000, let alone 3,000
Hmm.
for their own charity goals, and yet they do it. And more often than not, they'll donate, and maybe a couple of people will donate for them as well. Um, but they might not even reach the point where we've reached. So it's small when you compare us to like big charity organizations or what massive streamers can do. But if
Hmm.
you kind of take that scale and start to shrink it a bit, I think what we did is actually pretty impressive for a first year effort. And
Hmm.
I think for this year, I would say if we meet or exceed what we made last year, that'll be just as much of a success. Even if we make less, it's all still money that goes to charity.
Absolutely, it's what we're here for, and it's just it's for the greater good. It's for a good cause.
Mm.
So what really is honestly a success or a failure when you're looking at donation? I mean, realistically speaking, it is all a win, no matter what it is for this year, maybe even the next coming year. If we do year 3, which hopefully we'll discuss that at a later point. But yeah, there's definitely all a win.
Hmm.
Anything from UCL?
Hearing that S4S was originally just going to be a one-time thing, I think raising any sort of money or just getting any information about the charities is already a win in my book. But the
Hmm.
fact that it was originally going to be a one-time thing, but now it's continuing next year, it can only get bigger from here. You always got to start somewhere small and just get bigger over time.
That's
And
true.
I think that in itself is a success.
Yeah,
Hmm.
got to lay the foundation first. You can't. You're not building a mansion, on your first house build. You're building something small, and I would like to think that we got our foundations, and we maybe got like a little hut, maybe like a studio apartment if you're in California, which I know like me and CL are. So California, you only get a studio apartment here. Other places it probably goes a little bit further, but just a little apartment. But we'll hopefully expand to bigger. Maybe actually have a bath in there, maybe a washing machine. But
That'd be nice.
yeah. Wash our stinky Gouda hoodies. They smell.
And they smell like stinky ocean water.
Yeah,
My East Coast brain can't connect.
it's
Everything's so different over here.
so far away, and
So
even
far
further
away.
away. Els is so far away. So not even on the same continent.
Yeah,
That's
far,
true.
far away.
Mm.
But our heart is close, so it's fine.
yeah,
That is
Yeah.
true.
but you're in our hearts. You're very close, so it doesn't feel that far away. Plus, we get to talk to you and have these lovely moments like this.
Thank you, thank you.
So we talked about our 2021 year, and this was originally supposed to be like a wrap up for 2021. It's kind of a weird thing, but we had a lot of plans going on, and um, it's kind of finding time to do this, and especially with a lot of us being busy because we all work, and like I said, Johnny's on East Coast, and Els is in Japan, and then it's so hard really getting people in. It's hard enough trying to get like two people together when you guys are busy, let alone six and seven of it, which is why we're all not here, which we'll have to kind of amend their portion, maybe on one-on-ones at another point, so you won't have it much like this. But going into the 2022 year, since we're kind of like in between that period, I guess kind of talked about it a little bit, but anything else you'd like to add about the 2022? What are your guys' goals? I know you kind of talked about what would be a success or what we would like for the next one, but anything you'd like to add for the 2022? Like anything you would like what we could do better. Maybe if it's not even like monetary wise, like what would you guys like to see?
Mm.
I mean, nothing's fine too if you think that but I feel like we can always improve on something, you know?
No, we
Nothing's
can
ever
always
perfect.
grow. We can always grow. That's what we should be trying to do at least. At least from my perspective as like the design lead, I think I would like to create more so that our reach grows simply because we are putting out more promotional content beyond informational stuff like what you've been doing with Shark Facts and links out to like documentary clips and all that kind of stuff, but just like raising awareness a little bit more for this server and for what we're trying to do at a more regular pace, um, leading up to Shark Week and everything.
Hmm.
That'd be my goal. Aside from that, probably just brush up on some of the design elements I've made for S4S and start thinking about just cool future stuff that we could make. Maybe some animations. I don't know.
Ooh, I don't
World
know.
is filled with possibility.
There you go. You heard it. I haven't even heard. We haven't even heard that, guys, from our design lead here at Shrimps4Sharks. So that's news for us. So look out for more promotional materials, possibly some animations and whatnot. But whatever you do, I'm definitely looking forward to maybe we'll have a red hoodie, Shrimps4Sharks for a good or maybe a green one. We'll just get different colors. That's all he's gonna do.
Yeah,
He's just gonna change out the color. That's what he's gonna do.
easy.
I think for me, my goal is I'd love to get this out more known outside outside of the VTuber community.
hmm
Hold on, be right back.
You're fine.
And going off of that, we do have a few members that joined that seem to be outside of the VTuber community entirely,
That is
which
true.
is which leads me to wonder how they found us in the first place. But it's still a positive. It's a net positive either way.
Yeah, I don't always ask people where they join because I don't want to be that guy like interrogating the people that join our server. But I know we have like Els promoted us to some other Hololive servers. I think most of the HoloMyth servers. We're a partner of Good as Guardians. We've worked with the Hololive fan server as well. It's on my personal Twitter, the link, and then of course we do have our own social media site. So we do have outreach in a good amount of ways, but again, it's still very small, but some people join and then you get the occasional ones. We do tweet though, when it was Shark Week time, we do send out our tweets for a Shark Week tag. So maybe some of them, maybe some people come in from there. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
If they click the tag, I don't really click tags myself on Twitter, but that's just me. Maybe some people do, because anything is possible. But I was engaging in some Shark Week talk last year when we were doing the Twitter handle. But yeah, I think there's a few of them, and that would be a great goal. Honestly, I know that he's going to be coming back. it is not just a VTubing thing. Like it is for sharks, and that kind of transcends streaming, let alone
Back.
VTubing. What?
He's back.
I'm
Oh,
back. Sorry about that.
no, you're fine. Welcome back. This is
Welcome back.
yeah, okay.
Thank you. I completely lost my train of thought. What part did I last say?
Promoting outside of VTubers.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. I want to promote outside of VTubers and just get a bit more well known, and I want to see if I can get the community to know about it more. Get some the bigger name in the community to know about it, so that way I can spread our reach out even farther out.
Hmm.
Well, I think that's a great goal. And honestly, when you say, reach out to some of the bigger names in the community, I don't see that that couldn't be a thing considering we have like who doesn't know Ciel Kirahoshi from Gargura's community fan base. So I think that reaching out to even people in there is definitely possible. I mean, nothing is impossible. It's always can be done. You just got to find a way. But yeah, I think that's a great idea, and hopefully we do get more people, and they'll see that there is a community here. 'Cause I feel like some people still don't know that it's not just a charity. That even though it's any server, like you said, Johnny, any server is going to have lurkers, people that really don't talk, but you'll get those people that communicate and talk. And we still do talk about Gouda. Like we have a live stream channel, and why wouldn't we? Where it all kind of came together because of her. So we do have a community here that people can engage in. So hopefully they'll come in and donate for charity, but also stay for the community.
Yep.
What about you, Els? You have what any goals or anything that we could do for the 2022 year that you can think of?
As long as we can get more people and raise more awareness, I think I'm happy with that.
I would like to add on to that. I know last year you're really putting a lot of effort, and we definitely thank you for that. For a lot of the Kaigai Nikis for our overseas fans in Japan, because Gura is transcended the VTubing community so much when she joined, breaking through records after records of growth. Like it was staggering, and she's now on her way to 4 mil. So there's not just an English fan base out there. There's a lot of Japanese fans that love Gura, and you actually started to kind of translate our welcoming notes, our guidelines, and even put in translations for our channels for if any Japan fans or overseas would like to come in and see. I know we at least have, I think, one, maybe two that you decided to bring in. I know we have Kyoto, which I know is
Yeah,
another
yeah.
famous Chumbi, people know. Um,
Yeah,
but I know that you're looking at doing that for this year. So any plans on you try trying to snag some more overseas?
yeah. I still planning to get more JP bros to join as well so that Carol-san is not too lonely.
Hmm.
Yeah, but that's one of my goal. Yeah, to get more JP bros to. I mean, it's not. I'm not really good in translating stuff, but well, I hope with my simple translation on the site on our channel, I hope it helps them to get better understanding on our project as well, and I hope they can interact more with Kaigai Nikki.
Hmm.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
We
I'll
love it.
still work on, yeah.
And I know we don't have a
Hopefully can reach
channel.
more.
Yeah, I know we don't have a channel for the JP for any Japanese that come in because we don't really have any. But if anyone's out there that are watching and maybe know a little bit of English, it's very small amounts, and even then, you could reach out to them and let them know that if we start getting them, a lot of the other Hololive servers they do have a multiple server channel. Like I know like the JP channels they do have English and they have the Japanese channel because I'm in one myself. We'd open up a Japanese channel for sure. We want people to be as comfortable as possible. So if they come in and they feel like, oh, they can't talk because it's all English based, we will open up a special Japanese chat for them so they can communicate in Japanese. And um, unfortunately, I probably wouldn't be in there too much because I'd probably embarrass myself. But you can at least join in and communicate what we would like to talk to us because I know you're the only one in our moderator team, our leadership team that really speaks it. I know you're not native in it, but you're more native than anyone here. So So anyone else had to add on to that? I know that was kind of like I know we kind of touched on a little bit of 2022 with the last question with our numbers and stuff like that, but
No, I guess with that last thought that you had, I was literally thinking the same. Having a JP like
yeah.
text, a couple of JP text channels would be good because I think it could be very overwhelming or intimidating to
Hmm.
come in as a Japanese person who does not know English all that well, only to see everybody typing in English. So
Yeah.
having a couple of channels to like accommodate that, I think would be a positive thing for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to opening up. One of my biggest things, and I know Johnny definitely does. I talked to him about the channels here, the structuring. I really don't like excess channels. I really try to make sure that the channels that we're opening is worth it. So I do believe that is worth one, but it's not something that we're using now. But any Kaigai Nikis that do come over, we would definitely accommodate above and beyond. We want everyone that comes in to really be comfortable, because ultimately we're here to donate money for charity. So as long as we can get more people in and you can be comfortable in doing so, that is our goal. Our goal is to bring this event to you guys that are hearing this and stuff, and bring you in so you can join our event and our little family so we could do good. We can do, do great things in the world. So going on with the next question, before we close up, I actually kind of had a scrap a question because it kind of was like in your opinion, what would make our second year better than the first? But I think you already kind of touched up on that. But I didn't really have any shark related questions on here, which is kind of an oversight on me because we keep talking about this charity and what we do and us. And I guess it was supposed to be more of an insight about the leadership team and the people behind that run it. But I guess it'd be really fun to talk about sharks in a way that, well, we're here for sharks. Why not, right? So I guess to kind of amend a question here, it'd be kind of an open forum. But we've done a lot of research for sharks. I know that I feel like I'm more of an expert in sharks, even though I'm clearly not an expert. I'm really not. So don't ask me like expert questions because I'm not certified, guys. Don't ask anyone here on the team about certain questions. I mean, we will answer questions, but we're not. We're still very small in our scope of research. We didn't go to school for shark research. Um, but we definitely done a lot of research on our charities. We've watched a lot of movies and documentaries. Like you said, we watched Finn, which is one of our best documentaries that we've watched to date. We looked up shark facts. We run the shark facts on the Twitter. We post shark videos, small snippets and clips that are probably about 30 seconds to about a minute and a half long for you guys to see if you do see them. But learning about sharks, have you guys learned? How's your guys' learning or research about sharks prior to joining, even now after? 'Cause I know Guda used to do her shark facts, which I know she doesn't do anymore. It should be like a daily thing, every time she streams, she do a shark fact. But realistically, doing a shark fact every day would probably be quite daunting. I know trying to find a shark fact that hasn't been done, or I'm probably going to even repeat one at some point, it's kind of hard to find something new, or at least really trying to find that it's not repeating. But how has your guys' growth of sharks changed since joining?
I mean, I had always watched like Shark Week
Hmm.
back in the day, so I think I always had like a cursory knowledge of sharks growing up. Maybe a little bit of a healthy fear of them,
Hmm.
enough to stay out of deep ocean water. But I think if anything, I may not have learned a ton of scientific type of stuff about like the anatomy of a shark and all of that kind of stuff. But I think between recent years, where kind of the opinions of sharks have changed since the fear of it spawned off of like Jaws.
Hmm.
I think there's just a greater appreciation for them and a greater understanding of how they act around people,
Hmm.
um, which kind of helps maybe alleviate some of that fear of sharks and gives you more of a reason to want to help them, especially knowing how important they are to like the ecosystem and everything.
Oh yeah, the Great Coral Reef and Great Barrier Reef off of New Zealand and Australia, very far east, is very crucial, which is why a lot of documentaries that you do watch is actually based off of New Zealand and Australia, just in those coastal waters because of how important they are. They are very vital to the ocean biome. And you did mention Jaws as well, and I think everyone's probably watched Jaws, and even well, good at watched Jaws, so we definitely did watch it. But even though you're not a VTuber fan, who like most people have watched Jaws, and it's interesting because that's where a lot of people's fears come from. It is kind of is triggered as not really a horror movie. It's really more like a suspense horror or something like that. But it really does have a damning effect on the image that sharks have, and I feel like a lot of people, even among us, probably felt that way for the first time we saw Jaws. It's this killer shark that just wants to eat people up and all that stuff. And it really isn't like that. Watching all these documentaries and people like standing in water at shallow water with sharks, and petting sharks and swimming
Mm.
with sharks. It was just one of those things like, oh, they're not just gonna eat you just because you're there type of thing. I mean, it can still happen. I mean, there are freak accidents, but nothing more dangerous than driving with yourself when you're talking on a cell phone or any other. Like it really isn't a travesty, but it really is crazy how like almost 60 years ago, a movie has done so much damage and still continues to do so today that I don't think it really is ever going to go away. I know a lot of the charity that we have is they're trying to kind of do damage
Educate.
control. Yeah, they're trying to kind of give back on what Jaws did, and I don't think you're ever going to really do that. You can educate people as much as you can. I still think it's always going to be there because it is a classic film, but it's just maybe enlightening people that it's not as bad as that movie portrays or the media portrays. 'Cause I know the media is biggest, the biggest enemy in sharks. It's really not even the hunters. I think I personally feel that it is the media. You do have the hunters that do hunt them, but I really do believe the media really does make it so much more worse.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think Jaws helped shape public opinion,
Hmm.
uh, just on, the dangers of sharks and made them seem more like monsters than animals following instinct.
Hmm.
Um, but I think I would at least argue, especially with like recent Shark Weeks and stuff, even Shark Weeks in years past kind of had this like weird little like element of danger to the way that they presented their material, even if it was purely scientific. But I would argue that in recent years, that kind of mood has shifted more in terms of kind of what we're trying to do with all of these documentaries and everything. It's becoming a lot more of a leveled narrative, talking about sharks, talking about how they're maybe not that scary monster that is going to literally come and eat you if you're anywhere near the ocean, but maybe not something to fear. Maybe it's something to have a healthy caution about,
Yeah,
but it's a lot more complicated than that. And I think between charities and people attempting to educate marine biologists and everyone presenting in Shark Week, I do feel like there has been a noticeable shift in the way that sharks are portrayed to people, which is welcomed, obviously.
absolutely. Like I said, and that's why we try to educate too. I didn't want this just to be, oh, hey, open up your wallets and your credit cards and donate to these charities. We wanted to educate because I feel like raising awareness and for it is one thing, and donating for these charities that are going to be doing anything actively because we aren't in the field for doing so. But I think if we can do something, if you can't donate, if we can educate you just a little bit, then I think we're definitely doing our job a bit more to kind of help you understand sharks a little bit more.
Mhm.
Um, Els, anything you guys learned from sharks, or maybe you guys had zero knowledge prior? Like I said, I know Johnny said he watched Shark Week before. How are you guys before this?
I only know grass shark before. Yeah, I didn't. I'm not the kind of person to watch those Discovery or these wildlife related documentaries. And then, yeah, so I was basically close to zero before joining this.
Hmm.
And then, yeah, but then I studied a lot after joining S4S. And yeah, thanks to the Shark Fact and stuff and the research that I did on some of the organizations, yeah, I get to know more. But I
Hmm.
grow too.
Absolutely, and that's what we're all here for. We're all here for the growth.
Mhm.
As for me, I mostly just grew up like reading shark facts on like kids' books. So I don't really have too much knowledge, but I don't have too little knowledge. I
Yeah.
know they're not the man eaters that we make them out to be. They're just cute little animals that just poop their snoot.
Boop the snoot.
Poop the snoot. But yeah, I don't. Mm,
To
I'd say
kind of,
I'm just about okay in terms of knowledge.
yeah, it's kind of interesting you mentioned the books too. I kind of remember that when I was younger too. I know like um, it's probably I don't know if this is I really don't know how much it penetrated like overseas like for ULs, but like when I was younger like we had like Nat Geo books. I kind of read a little bit in that because you get those in classrooms. But I think there was one magazine. I think it was like Zoo Animal or something like that. It was something weird. It's like a very colorful magazine cover, but it had like basically a cover of and animals. Like when we talk about like lions, when we talk about like tigers and such. And I kind of remember looking at some of those before. I can't really recall because that was like my younger days, but I probably looked at some shark stuff. And as a kid, you're probably like, oh, ocean wants to kill you, kind of thing. It's like don't go in the ocean. Just. But it's really nice to learn a little bit more of not even just sharks, but the ocean because like it's one of the final frontiers, just as vast as space itself. You really can never explore all of the ocean. So it's really nice a little know just a little small fraction of what the ocean contains.
Mhm.
Um, but going off of that, I kind of piggyback off sharks. I know we do. Speaking of sharks, we actually donated or named some sharks for Good or herself. So if some of you guys are listening in and haven't seen it, I know we took off the pin on our tweet to show off our PowerPoint of kind of what we did and stuff for last year. But we did actually name a shark, little juvenile lemon shark, for Gargutta. So there is a Gargutta out there in the world. So she's out there swimming, and of course we do have a bloop because we wanted to make sure that what would Gutta be without Bloop, her trusty bubble companion that is not emergency food to some people. I don't know. He looks pretty cute.
You gotta have the pair of them. I'm pretty sure they're from the same area, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, it's from the same
So
the same group, and yeah, like I said, I think they're about the same amount of age, and I think captured almost closely around the same time. So yeah.
I know most sharks are solitary animals, but I like to think that they travel together.
Yeah, that is true. They're sometimes found swimming together. So hopefully, they're, honestly, even if they are solitary companions, it isn't impossible to say that the Gargutta shark and the bloop shark have passed each other at some point or another. So you can definitely say that they have met in the real world. Um, but going off of that, I don't really have any more questions. Any closing statements you guys like to really, or just kind of like open form, anything that you guys would have to say as far as what we do here personally to me about this podcast, to the people maybe watching, just kind of an all-encompassing question to you guys, as you will.
Hey, people listening, uh, save the sharks,
Hmm.
or spread the news about sharks and how they're cool, and there's a lot to learn about them and be interested in them and all of that. And also, you know, if you have Discord, if you're into communities, Shrimps4Sharks is it's a pretty good one to join. Come
It's
join the talks.
yeah, it's kind of all right. You guys are pretty cool people. I kind
That's all right.
yeah, I would say a little bit. They're all right people.
That's it.
CLLs. You guys good? If you guys are good on wrap up, yeah, it's good. Like I said, you don't. Just kind of more of a natural thing. So we're just kind of a closing statement before we kind of wrap it all up and whatnot.
Brain empty.
Brain empty. Yeah, we kind of did six. I think we've probably been going for probably about an hour or so. We really didn't have a time frame on it, but I guess to kind of piggyback off what Johnny said, yeah, if anyone is watching this and listening in, once we do finish it, because like I said, we're gonna have to amend the other ones later. I guess maybe I'll put this one out as a portion, but I kind of want it to be like a whole team effort type of deal. So you're probably be hearing the same questions and probably a send off again. So I'm not too sure how I'm gonna work it. So you'll see it when it happens. But if you are watching this whole thing or this part, um, you know, give us a shot and check it out. We don't bite, and if you do come in and realize it's not for you, that's fine too. We've had people come and go. We hope that you do stay, and we hope if you have questions, you can reach out on us on maybe our Twitter. If we see one of our posts, ask a question. On there every once in a while, I'll kind of switch over to a profile, so I'm not checking it daily, but I will answer you eventually. Or join the Discord, or probably hit some of the people up in the channels. I know Els is in the channels often. I know you'll be able to find Ciel. It's really not hard to find Ciel. Just find the next goodest stream, wherever that might be, and you can most likely find him there, no matter what time it is. So we hope that you guys do love this insight to what we do. We kind of wanted to bring about what we do, because it was not a thing that couldn't have been possible with the people that are with me today. I know that I kind of had the idea for it, but I never thought it would be something like this. And I'm thankful for the people that kind of joined my leadership and helped. And I'm also thankful for the amount of chum buds that donated money. So I'm trying to hopefully encourage you guys to, if you're on the fence before and you maybe heard about Shrimps4Sharks and you are listening to this, give us a shot, please, and come by and watch some great shark documentaries and just be part of a little community. And with that being said, if no one else has anything to say, we will say goodbye, and hopefully you guys will come see us. And I don't even really know what's a good send off for us. All right, we really don't have a send off.
We don't have any cool phrases that we say. So
I was gonna say ohasame, but that's a more of a shark good morning thing. But oyasame, that's good night. We don't really have any shark related send offs. Same Nara. That's all I got. So I guess that's what we're going with. I know it's kind of corny, guys, but that's what we are around here.
Wait, what are we going to say?
Same Nara. Is that bad? Is that a bad word? I should probably
I was
say
gonna
that.
say,
No,
why don't we
it's not
just
a.
say our motto?
Yeah, I probably should have checked that before I start saying it, because I know it is because Nara is a cantonation of Japanese. So I could be like swearing. Yeah,
you
but
could be.
I write. Oh my goodness. So
Wow.
Well, we can say otsusame. I mean, and
oh my goodness, this is all just going off the rails. Just real. So first, we're gonna have to just cut this whole portion out.
Oh,
This
no.
it's gonna end abruptly. You're just gonna hear goodbye and that's it. But
yeah.
No, we can all say
good enough.
goodbye.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and should I end it off? I don't know. I'll start it off. It doesn't really matter. So I am Blackstar 300, and I like to say goodbye. Thank you guys for listening to this podcast. Yep.
And I'm JohnyKaze. Goodbye. Sayonara. Talk to you later.
Ciel Kirahoshi, have a good night. Or morning, wherever you are.
Els, and good night. Thanks for listening.
Bye.